Dude, look how cool my hunter looks. The cloak stays on during sex. I'm sorry. I'll drip out with the moth arms, but the cloak stays on. I'm not changing the cloak. I don't care. Hey everyone, I'm Just Soul, and in this build video, I'm going to be showing off my Master Moth build. This build has a couple of moving parts, but for the most part, it's fairly simple. This build is a branch off of the standard melee dodge melee build that arc hunters have, but we throw moths into the mix. We will be generating moths through two different sources. One, through using our grenade, using MOTHKEEPERS wraps, the new exotic hunter arms from Season 22, and the new seasonal exotic X-Duris, which I have the catalyst for, but you don't really need the catalyst for this. It just makes it a lot better because it allows you to become amplified off just the first kill and constantly be reprocking amped, along with being able to ramp up your enrage faster into only needing to have shot twice. The subclass setup itself is pretty standard. You're going to have your standard lethal current and flow state loop, along with combination blow. And for the fragments, we have Spark of Beacons, because you're already blinding everything with your grenade and with the moth that spawns from X-Duris' kill. And so since they're already blinded, getting another kill with X-Duris not only reprocs your amped, but also will continue the blind chain. Spark of Shock, because this is a grenade spam build, so running Spark of Shock to give your grenades jolt is just very nice for ad clear. Spark of Ions, because whether your grenade will jolt or your melee will jolt. Creating Ionic Traces gives you ability energy back, allowing you to spam more grenades. And Spark of Discharge, which is just another way to make an Ionic Trace. If there aren't any jolted enemies, at least your grenade launcher should be making some. I'm also running a Demolitionist primary, and this is really just for if you have no X-Duris or you have no grenades. So it's very rare that you'll ever need to use this, but it does come into play sometimes. We will also be using Surge mods, so running a heavy weapon that matches the element of your X-Duris is very optimal. Now, the mods on our armor are all about orb generation and grenade and getting your grenade back. So on our helmet, we have two Siphon mods, but you can technically run one. I have two because I'm using a kinetic and an arc weapon. But if you're using a demo weapon that is a strand weapon, such as Immortal or Rufus's Fury, then you'd only need to be running one. You'd be using the combo Siphon of arc and strand from the artifact. And if you are only running one, then I would probably recommend using hands-on because you're going to be meleeing a lot. And so getting extra super energy for melee kills is always nice. Not only are we going to be using siphons for making orbs, but on our arms, we'll be using heavy-handed and firepower to make more orbs through your melee and grenade kills, along with running an impact induction so that melee damage turns into grenade energy. Chest piece is pretty standard. You're going to run reserve so you have more X-Duris ammo, and another reason why you should run an arc heavy weapon as well, because you're already running reserves. And for the mods on your boots, it's a little more free form for your third slot. Your first one, you're going to want an Arc Surge to increase the damage of your X-Duris so that it can continuously one-shot enemies. You're also going to be running Innervation because of the amount of orbs you'll be generating. Turning those orb pickups into grenade energy will allow you to keep getting your throwable moths. In your third slot, you have a couple options. You can run another Weapon Surge. You could run an Innervation for more grenade energy. You could run Better Already for more health regen. You can run Recuperation to give you a set amount of health. So it's kind of up to you. And for the cloak, similar to your boots, your third slot is kind of up to you. Because of how the loop works on Arc Hunter, you're going to be running Impact Induction on your arms so that melee hits give you grenade energy, but then you're also going to be running Bomber on your class item to where dodging gives you grenade energy, just so you have even another source of grenade energy. Running Powerful Retraction is always a great mod, especially in builds in which you use your class ability a lot. You'll be making tons of orbs with this build, and so grabbing them not only gives you your grenade back, but also gives you your surge, and if you are running one of the healing ones, then you'll get health from it. And in the third slot, there's only really two options, and it's running another bomber, or if maybe there's not as many enemies in the activity you're going in, or you're unfamiliar with the loop and you're not as comfortable with Arc Hunter, running time dilation to increase the duration of your surge mods so that you have more room to keep those stacks up is completely fine. We will also actually be taking advantage of some of the artifact perks. elemental orbs. Because you're using an arc weapon on an arc subclass, running elemental orbs arc will allow you to spawn the little throwable arc orbs, giving you just another source of arc explosions and jolt. To build off the arc orbs, we have a couple other artifact perks. One being refreshing pickups, giving you ability energy, namely your grenade, every time you pick one of these orbs up. And also elemental munitions, which is killing an enemy with an elemental orb has a chance to spawn special or heavy, allowing you to continue to spam the grenade launcher. I personally do not have all 12 artifact perks unlocked, but if I did, I would also be including frenzied stacks, because you're already going to have so many stacks. You're going to be maxed at 3 pretty much all the time if you are continually doing the melee build, or you're just getting a lot of kills with your extra risk, spawning a lot of orbs. And so while you have the weapon surge, you also have this elemental orb surge, allowing your elemental orbs to do more damage to guarantee they kill, so that they will have their chance to spawn special or heavy. Instead of Frenzy, you can also run Monochromatic Maestro, because you're constantly swapping between shooting a grenade launcher and throwing grenades. It works perfectly in sync, allowing each one of the two to buff the damage of the other one. Hey guys, Editor Soul here. The game's down, so I can't actually show you what I'm about to say, so I'll just editing voodoo magic it. When I talked about using a demo weapon and I said using a strand weapon that has demo, technically this season it's better to run that, not only because of the double siphon, but because we actually have an artifact mod called Thanatotic Tangles, which allows you to create tangles just for using a strand weapon, which can also go into your refreshing pickups mod along with the arc orb that you'll be making. That's all. In this build, I'd recommend 100 resilience because you're close range and because you're probably going to self-damage a lot, at least I do, and 100 discipline so that your moths come back on their own as fast as possible. Like I said at the beginning, there are a couple moving parts with how this build actually works. And I also said that it was a branch off of the Arc Hunter dodge melee build. So it's pretty simple. There's a couple things you can do, though I would definitely recommend your first objective is just getting rid of your grenades. You're going to spawn with 2 of them. And with the amount of energy you'll be getting back, you're not going to want to start without throwing them first. At least throw one of them. Because if you start the rest of your loot, like if you start off by meleeing an enemy or by killing an enemy with your grenade launcher, then you just wasted a chance to get energy back. You create an ionic trace through your grenade launcher kill, and then now you just wasted that trace. That trace is going to go nowhere. So start off by just getting rid of your grenades. 1 or 2, as long as you have the ability to get grenade energy back. Now, after that, it's kind of freeform. After your moths are gone and you need the energy to come back, you can rather do your standard melee dodge melee combo to get your grenades back, or you can shoot your grenade launcher to continue spreading the moth chaos and the extreme blinding that comes from not only just moths hitting enemies, but also the grenade launcher killing blinded enemies, spreading blind. But because of Exteris's insane reserves, you can kind of just shoot it whenever you want, however you feel. You just shoot the gun, which is the best part, because you just shoot the gun and it blows things up, and it's extremely fun to use. You never have to reload. You don't really have to think much because you don't really have to aim because it's a grenade launcher. You just shoot things. There's explosions. There's blinding. It spawns moths that it blows things up. It spawns orbs that blows things up. There is another exotic that you can run if you want less moths but more blinding, and that is Cold Heart. Cold Heart being a trace rifle, counting as a special weapon, which means it still allows for blinded enemy defeats to spread blind, but also because of the amount of ionic traces that Cold Heart spawns when fully ramped, giving you more grenades. So it's kind of like a more moth grenade, but less chaos because you don't have the grenade launcher. And since I'm going for maximum moths possible, I went with Exteris. And because it's also the new exotic. And of course, the grenade launcher and the arms have a special interaction with one another. Exteris only generates 1 moth on kill, but if you're running MOTHKEEPERS, it actually spawns 2. This being if you kill an enemy while there's enemies near it, but you're not, it will spawn 2 arc ones. Or if you kill an enemy while you're near it, and there's also ads, it will spawn a purple one for you and an arc one for them, just like the arms do. This build is insanely fun just because explosions are the best. I personally love Arc Hunter. I use the combination blow loop all the time, so I love that this is just another thing that I can add on to it to make it even more fun. But that's all for me. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like. And if there are other weapons or exotics that you want me to make a build on, let me know in the comments. And if you want to see more of my content, then you subscribe. As always, I'm just Soul, and I'll see you guys in the next one.